Well guys, here it is, August, I think it's the 7th today. We were planting fall plots about 10 days ago, and I got a look at an absolute mammoth buck. All right, we're in a food plot right here. I feel like we could encounter him. Got a tree stand right there. This has all been planted to my fall mix. You can see it's still got some alfalfa in it that, you know, we didn't kill. We left it, what was here, some clover and some alfalfa that was growing. We left that and just drilled right into it, so it's gonna turn out beautiful. Come on, be there, baby, be there. Oh, he's out way early. Oh my word. Yes, sir. Oh, we got him, He is bleeding severe.
Whoa. Oh, what can you say about that? An absolute dream buck. It's a special moment and definitely want to celebrate this and remember all the people that made this possible, because when you really think about it, these kind of successes and what I've done out here in Iowa, it's not really so much about you, it's about your team, you know, it's about all the people around you, and that's what this is about to me. That's what this means to me, is the team that's been around me that made me successful. They allowed me to flourish, basically, you know. My parents always helped me, so can't thank everybody enough. It seems unreal to be sitting behind a deer like this, honestly. Hey guys, welcome back to the show here. We're up at the Iowa Deer Classic, hanging out with the big man. We just got him back a couple of days ago, got him up here to the Classic, so been exciting talking about him. Before we get rolling on the subject today, I'd like to thank everybody that's come up to the booth and talked to us. You know, I've said to a few of the guys, like, we're just out doing whatever we do all year long. We don't get to interact with the guys, you know, maybe some comments on YouTube or whatever. But it's really cool when you have people come up here and just say how much they appreciate you. The reason they hunt is because, you know, watching you inspire them, stuff like that. So that really means a ton to us guys. So, you know, don't take that lightly. We really appreciate when you come up here and say all the positive things. So for today's subject, I want to talk a little bit about green sources. I've talked to a lot of people up here this weekend that want to start food plotting. They want to do green sources, and they ask me, what would you plant if you're doing a green source? And I always come back to two things. I'm going to do clover and alfalfa. That's always a staple in my food plot program, has been for years. And then now, over the last few years, I've seen that brassicas are so good. You know, I put together a monster buck blend. It's got a lot of different stuff in it. If you go watch this video, you'll see I talk about everything that's in that. And purple top turnips, radish has got to be in that. Everything that was in the field was hammering it. And it's early in the year too. You know, we always think about brassicas being late season, you know, cold weather, that's the big draw. But I'm seeing early season attraction. It's probably better than what we think for early season. So I'm gonna go back to clover, alfalfa for half of my green source, brassicas for the other half. I don't think you can go wrong for your green sources. You know, of course you can put in some wheat, rye, your grains, you know, soybeans, corn, all that stuff's great too, but that's what I would go to for a green source. One of the ways you can establish clover is frost seeding. Mike's gonna talk about that now.
What's up there, buddy?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey guys, it is Sunday, February 25th. Beautiful day here in Iowa today. It's gonna be 50, 60 degrees, bluebird skies, and I'm down on the river bottom farm getting some frost seeding done. Conditions have just been ideal. You know, the idea there, it's a cheap way to get seed in the ground and bolster your soil and bolster your food plots. You're utilizing the freeze-thaw cycles that naturally occur to work that seed into the ground. And ideally, you're doing this with at least a few weeks or a couple weeks of nighttime temperatures dipping down below freezing so that you can get that seed worked down into the ground. Another great thing about clover is it's just so tolerant to so many different conditions. I mean, if you got a damp area versus dry areas, you got low pH, I mean, these seed blends are gonna germinate and give you some tonnage for your wildlife. So it's one of the easiest things to put out there and get some food plot results from. Today we're using a couple different monster buck blends. They've got 2 different clover blends. One is the perennial blend. It's got the Ladino white clover, the jumbo Ladino, the white and reds, and it also has a chicory blend. And this is more of a perennial blend that I use in areas that I want to keep and maintain clover plots. I got a few of those out here on the River Bottom Farm that we're going to seed heavy. As far as seeding rates go, it depends a little bit on what you already have there. A lot of my plots, I put clover in them every year, so I don't need to go as heavy. I think in general, when you talk about frost seeding, a lot of times you seed at a slightly heavier rate than what you might do if you were drilling it. There's a lot of conditions that factor into that, but if you can get good seed to soil contact, it's an area that you've burned already or somewhere that's been a food plot from previous years, or something that you sprayed last fall and is pretty bare. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. Typically, mine are in relatively well-established plots. In the fall, when I'm putting my brassicas in, I will mix in a little bit of clover, so there's already clover in there. And then in the winter, early spring, I come in and just top it off, and then we see how it comes up, and then we reassess as the year goes on. The other areas are my brassica plots or my fall forage plots. In those areas, I'm using their annual clover blend, and this is something that I just want to get the soil covered. I want this spring clover to pop up. It benefits the turkeys and other species. It helps with weed suppression, and then it fixes nitrogen back into the soil throughout those spring and summer months. We call that green manure, where we're getting that nitrogen back in so that when we come and plant our brassicas in the fall, we've got a good nitrogen base already. That's their off-season blend. It has 3 red clovers in it. It's a fast-growing, and it's just perfect for that plow-down style of planting. Another place that this style of seeding is super useful is areas that you can't get a drill or you can't get a tiller into. Little ridge that goes off the field that you want to get a food plot in to help direct some movement amongst trees. I've got a spot on the farm that little Xander killed on that it's in and amongst a bunch of oaks. There's a lot of roots, and I'm not gonna be able to till that up or drill right there, but if you can get that leaf litter off, whether you burn it or you blow it off with a leaf blower, you can come in this time of year and frost seed and end up having a great food plot there. But if you guys are in the market for seed, Monster Buck has given us a code to share with our viewers, MWW, for 20% off. And so you guys can go to their website and order what you need. Again, there's 2 blends there. This multi-year cold climate perennial clover blend that's got the chicory in it is a great seed blend that I think you guys have a lot of luck with. One of the awesome things about Onyx, the ability to mark out the perimeter of your food plot so you can get exact acreage, so you know how many pounds of seed you need to put down on a particular spot, and then also the track function. I like to grid, and you get pretty good at gridding and knowing about how many steps to go down, but that track function just helps you make sure that you cover the entire area. Well, we just finished frost seeding this plot. I call it the upland bird plot. This year we're going to continue what we've done some in the past throughout the off season and do some stand breakdown segments. And so today we're going to talk about this stand that's over my left shoulder that I shot the buck we called Fitzmagic out of last year. And at first glance, it doesn't jump out at you as maybe, oh, this is going to be a killer deer spot. Originally, when I planted this, I was doing sorghum and upland bird mixes because this is a good pheasant area. When I bought this farm, I was kind of thinking on the edge of the farm, I would, be able to hunt pheasants midday and not disturb the deer hunting very much. It has become quickly one of my favorite spots to hunt on the entire property. And how it sets up is I've got this area called the Central Timber and a ton of deer bed in there. So it's one of the main bedding areas on the property. And then there, it's the path of least resistance kind of idea. There's an old farm road that comes right out of that bedding area, And basically they're working out towards the destination ag fields. And so it's a natural movement pattern. If I was doing nothing to this area, it would be good. We have good access because of the slough. There's a slough that runs along the farm road, and so you can sneak up. And that's about as good as you can do for accessing these areas. You know, I've got willow thickets and some horizontal cover, but the sloughs are 3 feet below everything else, so you can get down in those and sneak in. So I've got good access. I can hunt it on a southwest wind, and I catch the natural movement. And then I've spiced it up a little bit by putting a green food source, and so it's a little bow plot basically where they can stop and graze on their way out to the corn. And then the other thing that played a big role last year was it's just lined with red oaks. On good mass crop years, they're really congregating here. They're eating acorns, they've got the green plot, and then they're not too far away from the big ag fields down the lane. And the tree, it's a relatively small pin oak. You know, I wasn't sure about it working when I first hung the set in there, but it's worked really, really well. I mean, we would never get picked off, and it's got enough branches. We've got a double set up there, and we have deer walking 5 yards from the stand constantly, as you could see from watching video from last year. And it's just been a killer setup, and one that I'm certainly looking forward to hunting in the future. Well, that's a wrap. We are all done frost seeding out here on the River Bottom Farm. Really looking forward to this off season. Tons of projects to get done. You know, I'm looking forward to spending some time out here next fall, possibly hunting that deer we call Moss. You know, you guys saw previous episodes, we matched up his antlers. This will be the 3rd year of history with him. There's a couple other bucks we'll be looking out for this summer, but we're gonna start strategizing and figuring out a game plan on how to make certain spots better and what we can do to increase our odds catching up with one of these bucks. In the coming weeks, going to be focused primarily on burning, you know, and completing some shed hunting and things like that. I still have a number of bucks carrying, but we are going to get the burning done. That'll help us find any sheds that are in those natives. For those of you following along, hopefully we can add some value to you guys' management strategies and help you catch up with one of your bucks. As always, we really appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you back next week.